I just think we should wear flowers in our hair all the time.
I know, right?
Oh my gosh, I bet your flower crown is so cute.
I also love that we all went like kind of pink.
I know, it's so
Like this
cute.
was very unintentional. Like
Yes.
yeah. Hello and welcome to Spooky Sips, where we put our love of horror movies into a podcast and sip some spirits along the way. I'm one of your hosts, Yvette, here with my co-hosts Laura and Brianna.
Hello.
Hey. All right, so we have our flower crown. Let's try that again. We have our flower crowns on tonight because we watched Midsommar. Now, if you've been following us online, you know we love to do Halloween costumes up. And we did Midsommar for, was it 2018 or 20? It was 2019.
2019,
yeah.
Okay, yeah, we did that. And it was an amazing costume. So if you don't follow us online, go look at our socials and you'll get to see. We even had a bear. It was amazing.
We sure did.
Yes.
So yeah, we watched Midsommar, and this is one of my more like favorite horror movies.
So good.
There's just something like unique about it.
Mm-hmm.
But essentially it follows the main character, Dani. She has a family tragedy occur, and her boyfriend is traveling with a group of his friends to Sweden. And they're going to go experience life in Sweden. One of their friends lives there and his family is there, and they're going to go check it out.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the movie.
Yeah. And this is one that we all saw together.
Yes,
the
in
first
theaters.
time. Yes, because we all went and saw it together when it came out in theaters, us and your dad.
Yes. Yeah, I had to sit next to our dad.
Awkward.
Which
some scenes.
There's some of the scenes it's like, oh, sorry.
It's fine.
It's fine. But yeah, we all went and saw it together. So I watched it once then, and then this was my first rewatch.
Me
Have you
too.
guys rewatched it? Okay.
I think you're both liars. Because I think we all rewatched it before we dressed up as it for Halloween.
Because
we
came
did
out in 2019.
Yeah.
But I think we watched it. We
Again?
all at my
watched it
house.
That would make sense. But so since 2019, I haven't.
Yeah,
reviewed it.
It's been a few years.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll give you that. I will give you that. But
no, and honestly, like it was one of our more like simple in quotes costumes, but like that year held a spot in my heart. Like I loved our outfits for Midsommar.
It was so good.
it was so
Especially
weird.
because like we did like the house party that year, and obviously we were all there first. So
Right.
as people showed up to the Halloween party,
We're just like a cult.
it's just
in our
us
little
in full
outfits.
costume.
Yep. It was amazing.
Yeah, because we're not like, you'll know when you see the pictures, and if you've seen the movie, like we always tell you to do, is you'll know kind of what this community, the Haga, or what is it called? Harga? Like,
Yeah.
They all have like these white outfits, like frocks. I want to call them frocks.
Yeah.
These white frocks with like some floral pattern on them, and then the women wear flower crowns. So it's like very like, whoa, I'm in a cult.
And like we'll get more into this as we like talk about it, but it's a very like women-led cult like organization. Like the women are the ones that are in charge, and like so it was a good costume for us because we got to just fully embrace it, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's just get into it because like it's a strong start.
Yeah.
For a film.
This movie's just so good. Like, I mean, I feel like I actually don't have much to say about it. Like, I'm sure we're going to find stuff to talk about. But it was like, as soon as I finished watching, I was just like, oh my God, like, this movie's just so good. And like, that's it, period.
Yes.
No notes. Like,
Agreed.
the start before they go to Sweden, like, that whole scene is just so good. Because, like, the characters, to me at least, like, they felt real. You know, like they feel like real people, and their relationship has tension and like awkwardness and all of the things that make it feel like they're like actual people.
Exactly. Yeah, the tension is like palpable immediately and sets the scene, I feel like.
Yeah.
Well, and so even before we meet any characters, there's just these like kind of scenes of these like pictures that are depicting all of the creepy seasons. And then we have this like really eerie kind of music. And I wrote down woman singing ee.
Yeah, no, there's just it's like just sounds.
Yeah, like the sounds in this movie, whether it be the wailing, crying, the creepy music, just the score of this movie is so, it just gets under your skin.
Yeah.
That's what makes it so good, I think.
Yes.
Yeah. No, for sure.
But yeah, then we meet Dani, and she's leaving a voicemail for her parents because she's really worried.
Mm-hmm. And as she's leaving it, we're seeing their home.
Yeah.
And we're like seeing it through their voice, you know. Oh my God, what do you call it when it's like an answering machine?
Their answering machine.
Answering machine.
So anyways, we're seeing their answering machine, and we're seeing that they're in bed laying down.
Mm-hmm. And because I knew what this movie was, I was watching and I was like, I feel like I'm seeing them breathing in this scene. And maybe they were at this point. I'm not sure.
I think at that point they were. Like, you feel like they were like asleep.
Yeah.
At this point.
And then she's calling her boyfriend, and he's out with his friends. And they're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe she's calling again. Like, and they're talking about her like she's just such a drag. And like, they're like, when are you going to break up with her? Like,
yeah.
You know,
because first she calls in and she's kind of like, oh, like, do you want to hang out today? Like, are we meeting up? And she, you know, she's like trying not to cry. But like, yeah, she's very like, okay, I'll just call him because I'm trying to work through this.
But like you can tell he's begrudgingly like, oh, she's saying she's fine, but I know she's not. So he like, kind of like more asks her what's up. And she talks about, she got this email from her sister. And I wrote down what the email says just because it was so intense. So the email from the sister Terry says, I can't anymore. Everything is black. Mom and dad are coming too. Goodbye.
Yeah.
Like what?
Which is like very terrifying to receive. Like, because that really sounds
like,
pretty
that sounds
definitive.
serious, you know? Yeah. And the boyfriend's like downplaying it. Like, she's sent weird stuff before. Like, he's very much so downplaying.
Yeah, like, oh, I can't believe you're having another panic attack from her. Like, she does this to you all the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he's just very dismissive, and then she calls her friend, who her friend actually we don't end up then meeting the friend, but like her friend is like supportive. And then she took an Ativan, and then they showed like the boys just again back kind of like they're all like at some diner or something getting dinner, and they're just like they're all just talking about how he needs to break up with her, and basically, like they're kind of just talking bad about her and like dismissing her very real what she's going through.
And something that I kind of picked up on the rewatch that maybe I didn't the first time is that like you get the vibe that it's because of how he has described Dani. Like it's not just that his friends are like shitty people that don't like his girlfriend. Like it felt like, well, they feel that way because of how he reports his relationship is. Like I felt like I picked up more on that this time. So like you can just tell that like he isn't happy in it, but he's also not breaking up with her. He's just kind of like and then like he alludes to the fact that they have a trip coming up, and he's like, well, yeah, like after that, like she's not coming on that. Like, you know, we get the vibe.
And they're like being again, another quote that I only call in the rewatch. He's like, just think about all the women you can get pregnant in Sweden.
Yes.
Like it was just like,
I was like, what a weird thing to say.
Yeah. Super gross.
Like your girlfriend's like in crisis.
Well, and so we meet the friends, and it ends up being okay. So there's Christian as a boyfriend. There's Mark, Josh,
and Pele.
And most of these men end up being, you know, like kind of unremarkable. Well, no, they have their place in the movie. But I got so excited because I forgot that Chidi Anagonye from The Good
That's
Place.
what I kept calling him. Like I was like Chidi
because he literally is Chidi
He's
in this
the-
movie. You
no, but like the same guy, but
same
anthropology
character.
instead of philosophy.
They should have just let him be Chidi because he literally was Chidi.
It was amazing.
No, I'm gonna keep calling him that because
Yes.
that's what I was calling him.
I honestly never figured out what his name was because that was what I was
Josh.
just
It's like
oh,
Josh
okay. No,
or
he's not
something.
Josh.
Yeah.
Get out of
No.
here.
He's not Josh, he's Chidi.
Not Josh. No.
Okay, for the rest of the podcast, he will be known
Yes.
as Chidi.
Yes.
Yeah, and for anyone confused, I'm sorry.
Go watch
We're
The Good
gonna call
Place.
him Chidi.
Figure it out.
And so we get the general idea that like Pele is from Sweden, and so he's invited them to this festival that they have, and the one that they're doing is every 90 years, so it's like a big deal.
Yeah.
And we get the understanding that they're probably grad students because they're working on a thesis or postdoctoral, like
Mhm.
and especially Chidi is like this is part of his thesis.
Mhm.
And so that's why they're going to Sweden. So yeah.
Yeah. But then we get we've jumped around a little bit, but the scene where then Dani calls Christian
Again.
back
She calls him back.
because then do we see them for? I think that's what it is, right?
I think we see her. I think we hear her
Yeah.
saying like no through the phone.
That's what it is. So he picks up the phone and we just hear this no, but I cannot do it justice.
Mm-hmm.
The way that the actress like conveyed, it's more than grief. It is just
so much pain.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like it's sheer agony.
Agony.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
And then we see the whole scene that happened with her sister Terry and the parents.
Yeah, we see like the blue and red lights of like, emergency vehicles, and they're like going into the garage, and we see these like duct taped hoses onto the cars in their garage, and the firefighters are like kind of coming in and like surveying the scene, and they follow the pipes upstairs, and the parents' bedroom had been duct taped closed with a hose going into it. And so they go in, and the parents were dead in bed from the fumes. And then I think it like splices then to Dani on the couch with Christian, and he's like holding her, and she is just like,
we also
this
see her
cry
sister.
is like maybe the most intense cries of like cinematic history, I feel like.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's more than just a cry. It is a wail. Like she is wailing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So no, it's just devastating. Like it would just be so awful.
And then we get to the scene where they're like leaving the hallway and they go to the sister. And like, we've all seen like a ton of horror movies. There's a lot of like really intense gore moments, but like to me, this is one that like I've never forgotten because it's just burned in your brain. But the sister is just like slouched up against the bed, the back of the bed, and she has a like hose taped around her face. And she had like obviously thrown up, and so like it was just a really like
there are a lot of scenes in this movie that like it followed me into my nightmares. It's like the movie isn't scary in like your usual ways, but like it has so many scenes like where like the image just like sticks with you. Like
exactly.
Well, and I think that's why we all went to see Midsommar in the theater together, is because we had seen Hereditary.
Yes.
And it was such a disturbing movie that we were like, whatever this dude makes, we're gonna go see, because like it was so good.
Well, and like based off the trailers, we were really intrigued because like this was the first time we had ever seen a horror movie that's just completely in daylight.
Oh my gosh, right?
The trailer was like, whoa, that's crazy, because it's usually that horror movies are so dark.
Yeah, it's so bright and colorful and
and like cheery, like flower crowns and dancing. And
Yep. No, totally.
Yeah.
So then like there's some like arguments about, that she's not going to come. And he's like, look, I invited her, but she's not going to come. It's fine. And then we see a scene where she's like over at their place and they're talking and she talks to Pele and he's like, actually, I'm really glad that you're coming. Like, with everything you've been through. And I loved this transition. She like doesn't like that he's bringing it up. So she goes into the bathroom and she like walks into the bathroom in the apartment and then she shuts the door and she's in the plane bathroom. I loved that. I like the transitions in this movie are phenomenal.
The effects are just so well done. Like they use them all just so well. Like
yes.
Yeah, because like right before they decide to go. So Christian, the boyfriend, takes Dani to a party and then she finds out like he's going to Sweden and like decided he didn't tell her. So she's like, whoa, that was just kind of weird. And so then the next scene is like he's chatting with his friends being like, you know what, she's gonna come. But that scene was so cool because and it was the one right before she then goes into the bathroom. It's the scene of where you're watching it, where you're seeing a couple of the guys sitting on chairs in the living room and there's a big mirror.
Yes.
And then you see Christian and then Dani come in the front door, but it almost looks like they're in that same front facing shot because you see them in the camera, but there's no camera in the mirror.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was really cool.
Yeah. They did that one. And then the one where it's just Dani and Christian in the room where it's like one of them is like sitting down, but you can only see them through the mirror. And then the other person is by the door. Like it's just such cool little shots to show you.
Yes.
Like the full room.
No, totally.
And we like kind of get the vibe and like it's kind of hard to describe the kind of man that Christian is, but like he's the shittiest kind where like he won't own up to his own. And instead of just telling Dani he didn't want her to come, he's like, yeah, sure. But then he makes her look bad to his friend. Yeah. Like he's very like manipulative.
Yeah, he's like, I invited her. But like she's not gonna come. Like she's definitely not coming. And and it's like, well, yeah, she accepted the invitation. Like that's It's also her birthday.
Oh, that's right.
The day that they land.
That's right. I forgot about that.
Yep.
And like, I mean, again, I think what I liked about their relation, like the writing for their relationship, is that it wasn't so bad. Like you were clearly, I was rooting for Dani. I think everyone was, but like it wasn't like terrible. It was just like, this is just a bad relationship. Like she's maybe has some codependency and he needs to like just break up with her if he's not feeling it. But
their communication is off. For sure.
But they're just sticking together for no reason. But it's like, that's what I liked about it, is that it was kind of like it was complex, but it wasn't awful where it's like, well, yeah, screw him. Like for everything. Like it was kind of like, yeah, you guys are just bad together. Like
exactly.
I feel like it gets worse as the movie goes on. But
we get to see more of him like as he is to other people. And that kind of is like, okay, you're just a piece of shit. Like,
right. But yeah, so like they get to Sweden and as you were saying, like Pele had kind of explained to Dani kind of that there's going to be this ceremony. It's really fun. I'm excited for you to meet my family. And I don't know, maybe unpopular opinion or maybe popular. I really like Pele.
Me too.
Movie.
Yeah. No, I actually really do. Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I do too. I mean, in the end, we'll see.
I still like him.
I mean, yeah.
We'll chat at the end, but
they get there and they're driving. It's a long drive. And then they get just to kind of like a field. And he's like, okay, this is our first stop. And like, there's just
like, stop the car, like in the middle of
the road.
And there's just people in the field.
They didn't even pull over. What if someone else wants to go down the field?
I have a feeling that there's nobody else around.
There's one car.
Like, I get the vibe that like no one else is there.
That's
true. And they meet a couple of other people that like his brother had brought. We meet his brother and his guests that are from London.
I wrote down, it's a field of young people doing drugs.
Yep.
So
that's a good description.
They're basically just taking mushrooms. Yeah.
And at first she doesn't want to, but then she realizes like she'll be the buzzkill, so she does.
Mm-hmm. Well, and she's trying to be like supportive. She's like, look, I just feel like I need to get my bearings a little bit. You guys all do them, but I want to wait a little longer. But then Christian's like, oh, well, if you're, then he goes to tell him, he's like the martyr. He's like, oh, well, she's not doing it, so I'm not doing it.
Yeah. And they're like, we have to do it together if we're going to do it at all.
Yeah. So she's like, okay, fine, we'll do it. But it's like totally.
Yeah.
It's like not innocent, but it's like it's not malicious like peer pressure, but it's definitely.
Well, and he just always has a way of making her the bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So Dani starts to have a bad trip.
She
like of course down. You are.
She like looks down, and her hand, the grass is like growing like out of her hand.
Cool. If you're in the mood for a trip like that, that would be cool. If you're not, that would be scary as hell.
Yeah.
And something I noticed again this watch was that like whenever the characters, because like I think it's known that like they're being given psychedelics throughout their time there, right? Like this wasn't the only time. Like a lot of their drinks have it, and like if you notice in the background, like if the forest is moving, and they say like breathing. It's like the characters are high.
Yeah.
And I noticed that this time.
Yeah. Yeah. And the way that like the bark moves on the tree.
Yeah. It's
so cool.
It's
like, yeah.
What I noticed that happens a little bit later is when Dani's wearing a flower crown is like one of the like the centers of the flowers is
flowers.
Like
yeah.
Very cool.
But then she starts to just not have a good time.
Yeah.
Because because one of the guys says like, "Oh, you guys are like my family," and I feel like family is just her trigger word.
It is, and she just like
because you can tell, and she's trying to like reject, like she's just like, no, like not right now, like walking away.
Yeah, she's like talking to herself. She's like, "You're okay, everything's fine." Like,
And then she like thinks that the group of people is like laughing at her because they were just laughing when she walked by. Like she's just not having a good time.
No.
That would be me if I ever did mushrooms.
I think it would be you.
She was set up for it. You just got to an unknown place, bad situation.
Right.
A lot of bad stuff happening. I feel like that's not I feel like that's not the place you want to be.
No, definitely not. But then they kind of like, or I think coming down a little bit from the high, and they're walking this path to the Colty property. But it's really kind of pretty because it's like a yellow brick road. Like the flowers, there's these little yellow flowers that as the path gets closer to the property, they get like more and more full. Which I'm like, oh,
and they're like playing music.
Yeah.
Oh, and there is a little bit of confusion on what day it is because they fell asleep and then they wake her and it's like, wait, like, so is it tomorrow? Like, it's like, well, like it's a little bit unclear on what day it is. And the reason that's important is because her birthday happens at one point,
Yep.
Well, and also it's Sweden in midsummer. So there's maybe like 2 hours of slight darkness, but it's so north that it doesn't really
ever get super dark.
So yeah.
Yeah, because like when they got in, it was 9 p.m. and the one guy was like freaking out about that, like because it was full daylight.
That would be me,
Yeah, that would be weird.
Like I don't like that.
But yeah, I feel like when they get there, to me it just feels peaceful and loving and welcoming, and they're about to start this 9-day feast.
Yeah. But also cultish. They're all wearing the white clothes with the like it, the vibe is a little weird,
Oh, very.
Like, welcoming and fun and yay community, but also like, okay, interesting vibe.
Well, and like they go into their like where they are going to sleep, and it's this barn that's been like beautifully decorated on the inside, but they all sleep together, like in these little tiny beds. So it's definitely like,
and there's like a really creepy banner that they see, and then there's these people that are dancing. And at first, it seems really, really kind of peaceful and nice, but when they dance, they do this weird like,
it's like it's like they're not speaking in just like Swedish. Like I think they made like a whole other language.
Yes.
And then part of it is like just sounds, like the way that they like breathe and do like
Yes.
they like
It's like a very rapid exhale then inhale. It's like like it's so creepy.
Yeah, it's intense for sure.
But then so they're like getting a tour of all of it, and I think at this point they see a bear. They see a bear in
the cage.
Yeah.
And they try to say, like, are we going to talk about that? And they're like, yeah, it's a bear.
Yeah.
Duh.
Yeah, that's the bear.
But then at this point, I did also write down that this is when we see our beer and shots. So they must have had a meal. Even if it's just like a quick shot of a meal.
Yeah. I think
we see them sit down to meals quite a bit.
Yeah. Yeah, they do. They do sit down and have a lot of meals.
Yeah, so they have a beer, it looks like. I would assume it's a beer.
It's a beer.
It's looked like a beer.
And a clear shot.
Yeah.
So that's what we're going to be sipping on tonight. Should we see if the mic will pick up the sound of the beer?
I heard the first part.
The mics are too good, you guys. The mics are too good. All right.
Okay, so anyway, and when they have their beer and their shot, they say, Skål.
Skål.
Cheers.
Right? Yeah.
In Sweden.
Skål. Skål. Can you hear that?
Yeah. So yeah, I think the next big thing is the day of the ceremony.
I have two.
Okay, it's a long movie, so we don't need to go too.
No, but this part's important, I think.
Yeah.
At one point when they're kind of doing the tour, they explain kind of the belief system of this, I guess we'll just call it a cult.
Yeah.
The Haga people is that their seasons are 18 years. And every human, like every person in this cult has
4 seasons.
Basically just 4 seasons. Spring is birth to 18. Summer is 18 to 36. 36 to 54. Am I doing math? Right? Yeah.
Seems
it's then fall, and then winter is until you're 72, and then that's the end of the season. And then like somebody asked, like, well, what happens when you're 72? And Pelle does this like little like cheeky like throat slashing symbol,
and they laugh,
but
yeah,
we'll learn later.
And Pelle is talking with Chidi about it, and he says the name of what the ceremony is. I don't remember.
That they're gonna see the next day.
Chidi has done a lot of research because this is his thesis. Not just this particular group, but just Midsommar in general. And he's like, "Wait, do you mean like you're really doing that?" And Pelle's like, "Yeah." And Christian's like, "Well, what is it?" And Pelle's like, "You have to wait."
Yeah.
So it's like Chidi kind of knows, and you can tell that he's like, I guess we'll just see. Like, so then they go to this ceremony, and they're all there at the bottom of this rock, and they look up, and it's like from the Lion King. It's just this big, like,
giant cliff,
you know. And they're
we do the whole meal with the people.
Oh, right, they do. Yes, you're right. They do that first
because this scene had because I feel like this is one of the ones that's just scarred in my head. Is the guy's face. And I remembered that scene and I was like, oh God, like I'm not looking forward to this. The build up to this scene is so long. And I think it works because it like builds that tension, but like you get them coming in and then there's like the awkward dinner where it's like you can tell everyone's like waiting to sit down and then you're kind of waiting on them to do, and then they do their little breathing communicating thing. Like there's a lot of build up.
There is build up,
something happening,
but there's like also moments of humor in it because like right before this really tense scene, one of my favorite scenes is like you see some of the girls and they're picking flowers but they're walking backwards. And so like one of the non-Swedish guests says something like, someone should tell those girls they're walking silly because they're like walking backwards to pick the flowers. So there's like little moments of humor. But yeah, that whole dinner was so tense, like it's going to be bad, and then they're like walking them on their little
chariots.
Yeah,
like
yes.
And it's like you can kind of start to piece together what's happening, but like again, it takes a minute to get there.
Yep.
And I wrote that for me, because we've talked sometimes about how like slow movies can be rough. For me, this scene and this whole movie is slow in a good way.
Oh yeah.
It's not, it's never boring to me. It's always, but it does take a really long time to just get you freaked out.
Yeah.
Because you're waiting for so long.
Yeah.
So good kind of slow.
And I mean, I think honestly, like the moment we're there, like, you know what's going to happen. Like you see them on the top of the cliff and then you see this giant like rock at the bottom.
And there's all these runes that they like kind of like look like gravestones that had been like, we had seen them down below, but there's all of them like at the top of the cliff. So it's like, I don't know, commemorating people who've been there before.
And they have like symbols that have been carved onto them. Yeah.
And the older lady jumps and it's very sudden and she just kind of dives and hits the rock. And at this point, the English couple freaks out.
So there's an English couple.
Yeah, we had talked about.
Oh,
like,
did we?
Yeah, because that's, the brothers' friends.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And they're kind of like, whoa, why aren't we doing anything? Do you see? And you can see they're trying to calm him down. And we pan to Dani and she's just kind of like breathing and trying to like stabilize herself a little bit.
Yeah.
And then
a little bit of warning for her, would have been helpful.
Yeah.
Our girl's been through it, okay?
Come on, and Pelly knew that.
Right.
Yeah.
But for them, and one of the older women speaks to the English couple and is like, this is important.
Yeah.
Like, this is an honor.
This is part of our life here. So you can't have everything without having this. Like, it's a joy for them to do this. So like Pele may have not thought to tell Dani because for him, he's like, this is a essential part of our.
They got to complete their life.
Right.
Yeah. Like, this is a good thing.
But we have to talk about the gore in this movie. If you are not a fan of gore, this movie's probably not for you. It doesn't have to not happen often, but when it does, when this woman hits that rock, and trigger warning for gore, it's like her face insides come on the outside, but in a very misshapen way. And for me, the kicker was the eyeball. That's like halfway down the face. It's just covered in like goo.
Yeah.
I
hated this so much.
It's a very similar vibe to Hereditary.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like this guy has a style, right?
Yeah.
Like, you can feel it because it's a very similar, like not often, but when it happens.
No. Yeah. No. Again, I knew this scene. The scene is in my nightmares. So when it was coming, I got a pillow and I was like, because Matt watched it with me. I was like, I don't want to watch this scene. I don't want to hear it. I'm in denial about what's about to happen. I'm not going to re-traumatize myself.
Oh.
So no, not
and
my
so
cup of
like
tea.
the people, the visitors are worked up, but then the old guy comes. And at this point, the English couple is like losing their shit, right? And the old guy jumps, but he jumps like feet first. Like he jumps like you would into like water.
Like she almost did like a belly flop.
Yeah, so she landed flat. He went feet first in a line. And he doesn't die. It breaks his leg and they pan to him. And this part is disgusting.
Yeah, this is the part that I couldn't watch.
Like chop off. And then we see like a couple of people have this like
it's like a giant mallet.
Yeah, it's like a sledgehammer. And they walk up and they each take a turn smashing his face in. And it seems very unnecessary. Because like the first guy got him.
Yeah.
I had a thought. I was thinking, even though they knew he was dead after the first one, maybe it's kind of like they each take a big swing so that no one has to feel for certain I killed him.
Yeah, like a firing
It's like a firing squad.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
That's what I think.
But again, like everything that they're doing is so like ceremonial, right? Where it's like I could see where it's like, oh yeah, we do it twice. So like you have to have two people for whatever. Like it and
at this point Dani's like, okay, I'm leaving. I need some air. So she walks off just trying to like collect herself.
Mhm.
And the English couple's upset, and Pele's trying to like manage everyone. But
And he says something about like, or one of the people talks about like you were saying, Brianna, like they give their life like this is a joy,
right.
but they also phrase it that they want to give their life before it becomes spoiled. Like they want to go out while it's still good.
Well, and like at one point, someone was like, wow, this is like grotesque what they're doing. And I think it was Chidi that was like, they probably think that when we put our elderly in a nursing home.
Yeah.
Like that's to them probably grotesque. So like really, it's subjective.
No, totally.
You know?
Totally.
Yeah.
So then after that's done, our boy Christian decides that even though they're on this trip partially because, you know, it's Pele's hometown and Chidi is going to write his thesis on it, Christian's like, you know what? I've got a great idea. I'm going to do my thesis on this community.
This fucking guy.
You
guys.
the worst.
Like he gets what's coming to him
And
is
then
all I'm going to say.
Yeah, because then he's like, Chidi, you know what? If you want to go in halvesies, I'd be okay with that. What do you mean?
Yeah.
And like Chidi fucking takes it like a champ. I would have like bludgeoned him in his sleep. So I would have gone and gotten that mallet.
No, yeah.
So yeah, like a few other small things happen, but like,
oh, there's one thing that's big.
What?
So after the ceremony, Dani's really upset and Pele goes to comfort her. And he explains that his parents died when he was a kid. And he just, the phrase he uses, because I think it's like so impactful, is that he just felt so held by the community because like they all felt it with him and were there. He was like, it didn't feel like I was an orphan because this whole community held me.
Yeah.
And then I think he's starting to make his move on Dani because he's like, have you ever felt held by him?
Yeah. Like truly held.
And I don't know, like I never really got like a creepy vibe from him.
No.
I think it was more like genuine
like
concern.
that's like he genuinely
care.
believes this and so he cares. Yeah.
Yep.
I agree.
One thing that we saw when we were at the ceremony was when the guy had fallen and wasn't dead yet, he was like moaning and all of them moaned with him.
Yeah.
Like they all moaned in response to him.
Yeah.
So it really was like when one of them is feeling something, they're all. And we'll see more of that.
And then we see a scene. This is where I wrote down, oh God, smushed faces in fire. So like they took the old couple and they like they're it's like a giant pyre. Is it a pyre? Is that how you?
Sure.
Yeah, kind of.
It's just like a fire pit for bodies.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they like, you know, incinerate them because then they put the ashes in this tree. This tree is like fallen log.
Yeah.
People, yeah. We do also see there's a redheaded girl who's quite young, but she becomes a little bit smitten.
Yes.
With Christian.
And I was wondering, like, are we supposed to know how old she is? Because, like,
she's definitely not college.
I would say, like, 14. Like, 14 to 16.
She looked young.
Yeah.
But they're about to have lunch. And earlier in the movie, we had seen this, like, artwork done, and it's this weird artwork, right? Like where it like depicts this process of a woman like finding her mate, and part of it is that like she cuts off her pubic hair and puts it in the food, and she puts her menstrual blood in their drink, and like that's how they find their mate. And like
a love potion.
Yes,
then you see like the guy's eyes like spiral.
And so they made these little pot pies that Dani helped with. She went and helped the women. So like she became, you know, part of it. And they're served these cute little pot pies. And you can see that his lemonade on the table is orange and everyone else is yellow. Or what did I say it before? What did I call it? Yellow?
You called it yellow?
Yeah, that was weird.
Yellow.
And then he like takes a bite of his pot pie. And he like pulls out a hair.
Yeah.
So that's gross.
Gross.
Yeah.
That's gross. But at this point, this is kind of the beginning of the distance and separation between Dani and Christian. Like Dani is being drawn to be with the women of the group.
Yeah.
And Christian is being pulled aside to, eventually be with this girl. So like they're beginning the
And this is, I mean, just to emphasize the slow burn of this movie. So I rented the DVD of this movie. The Blu-ray was rented, so I had to go with the DVD. And I think the DVD was scratched because at this point of the movie, the DVD just stopped playing. It like did the thing where it like stopped, and like
would just like for a while.
Yeah, like not going for a bit. And so we tried to like go back and play it and see if it went through, and it just stopped working. It was a whole thing. But that's around when all of this is happening. And that was 1.5 hours into the movie.
Yes.
Is like where like all of this has been happening. And again, 1.5 hours into the movie.
Yes.
And like after this is where it truly just like picks up.
Goes.
Like, this is when like everything really starts coming together. But it's like, it's a slow burn. It was an hour and a half in that we get here.
Yes.
And then the last hour is everything like just spiraling.
And we should say there's been like a couple little things that will be important to know, kind of like how it's like the outsiders versus the insiders is like there was one guy, Mark, who's the most annoying friend.
He was annoying the whole time.
We
never liked him.
But like he ends up like peeing on the dead people's tree.
Yeah.
But he's kind of pissing off the Harga people.
Well, like there's not a bathroom. Like that just seemed so unnecessary.
Right.
Well, and you can tell like he doesn't care about them as a like he's not respecting. He's just there for like probably the drugs and the good times. Like
for like the trip. Yeah.
Right.
Like I don't really know what the British man did wrong, but like
they freaked out at the ceremony.
They freaked out at the ceremony, but he then went like so he and his girlfriend were going to leave.
Yeah. They were the first to be like, yeah, we're done. Like we're leaving.
So then she's got her bag packed. She's ready to go. And then, what was his name? Father Odd.
Yeah, it was.
Sounds right. Maybe.
Father Odd is like one of the elders. And he's like, oh no, he already left. There was only room for one of you in the car. They're going to go take him to the airport or the whatever
train station.
Come back and get you and then go back. She's like, what the fuck? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Like she doesn't believe it for one bit.
So like they're all, and then like Christian is like, because he's been given approval to do the thesis. So he's like, Dani's needing to talk to him and he's just like focused on
the redhead,
like or the interviewing people. He's like, because he's like, tell me about is incest a problem here, and tell me about your rituals. And so he's just like, so they're all doing these little things here and there just to kind of show like they're not genuine, like they don't have a genuine interest in the community. They're kind of just tourists.
Yeah,
basically.
And at one point you had been like, well, why doesn't she just leave separately? And I was like, I don't think anyone gets to leave.
No.
Like, I don't, I think
because at first I was also trying to figure out like, oh, like, did they all do something wrong? But I don't think that's what it is.
No,
I think it was, they arrived and they were sacrifices.
Yep. You join or you're sacrificed.
Right. Yeah. Well, they knew, I mean, at the end we find out where it's like, oh yeah, they need 9 sacrifices or however many. So it's like, I think it was, the intention was like, by bringing them here, you either become the queen or die.
Or die.
Like you get one of the two.
Yeah.
And then Christian is formally interviewed by or not interviewed, but like told by the one lead woman. They think, okay, you've been selected. Like you are to mate with, I can't remember what her name is, but the redhead.
And I love the scene because they like call him out and it's like, oh yeah, go to, I forget her name, like to her house. And so the house is just like white with like all like the art that again kind of matches the style we've seen. And just one wooden chair in the middle of the room. And then she calls him. So he stands up and walks. And it's just like an identical second room, but with like 4 chairs.
Yes. No, it's wild. Like, what is this room? Like,
no, it was very cool.
And yeah, she's like, okay, you're to mate with so-and-so, the redhead. And he's like, basically, he takes a moment, but he's like, yeah, all right. Like, doesn't take much convincing.
Yeah. And I think that's when the dance starts. Yes. Right? Like that's when Dani joins the girls and they give her a tea
Yes.
That's, you know.
Yes, because they're like
to
brewing
help.
this tea. And again, just the cinematography of how they filmed the tea making
Yeah.
was so cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and like you could super tell because the trees were moving wild in the
Oh, yeah.
background.
Mm-hmm.
We have missed quite a significant thing that happens right before the dance, though.
Ooh. Mm-hmm.
So we meet this boy named Ruben. They call him the disabled.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Okay, this is where my DVD glitched. And so we kept trying to do the thing where like we went back to see if then it would work. So I had to hear him say that 5 times. Like I was like, hey, this could have been any other scene.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. What could have been the next scene that comes up? Because so then Chidi goes to like, so Chidi's learning about, so Ruben, because he isn't clouded by, what was it, like clouded by like consciousness or something, like clouded by
he's more open to
so because of that he like makes these like special books, almost they're kind of like what do they call them, oracles, or like he's an oracle and he writes these books,
and they have many of these. Ruben is the 19th.
Oh yeah, they call them Ruby Ratters or something.
Yeah, Ruben is the 19th of this generation to do the book.
Yeah. But so Chidi like is learning about these and he's like, this is great for my thesis. Can I take a picture? And the guy's like, absolutely not.
Yeah.
It's forbidden. You cannot. So this happens the night before the dance and the dinner.
Mm-hmm.
And so then Chidi sneaks out in the middle of the night. He goes and he sneaks into the area where the books are and he starts taking pictures.
Yep.
Oh, and meanwhile, sorry. Meanwhile,
so much happens. Yeah.
Mark, the asshole who peed on the tree, he went with some girl who was like, I'm going to come show you.
Yeah.
What do you mean show me?
And he was like, what? And she was like, you'll see.
Like, I'll show you.
Yeah. He was like, okay.
Okay.
So he's been gone a few hours. He doesn't come back at night.
Yeah, like we haven't seen the couple in a second. We don't see him for a minute too. We've been slowly losing people.
Slowly losing. So then Chidi's taking the pictures and all of a sudden we hear this moaning and quote unquote Mark shows up, which I have quite a large TV, but still we had to pause it and like be like, is that a penis? We've had a lot of penises on Spooky Sips.
We really have, you guys.
Yeah.
We really have.
We have.
So we hear this moaning. It's kind of Mark's face, but you can tell it's just his face. Skin has been cut off his skull and someone's wearing it as a mask and the penis is hanging out and he's going, Yeah. And then Chidi gets like mallet to the head.
Yeah. And it's like a hefty hit. Like we see blood.
Oh, so much blood.
Start pouring. Like Chidi's not okay.
So that was just a very big scene we needed to talk about.
And like the Father Odd talks about the fact that because like Chidi asks, well, like, what if you don't have someone that's unclouded for the next book? And he's like, oh no, we will. He was a product of inbreeding.
Yeah.
So like it was very intentional. We'll always have someone like him. Which is like, oh, okay.
Okay, interesting.
But then it gets to so then we're at the lunch that's starting, and Danny's pointing out like, hey, Chidi and Mark are gone, and Christian's just like not concerned. He's just like,
well, yeah. They kind of like, you know, again, I think they tried to explain it away because then we get the guy making the announcement saying like, our book was stolen last night. Wink, wink. If you took it, just give it back. And then they kind of confront them to be like, our book was stolen and your friend is gone. So clearly he took it. And Christian's like a true asshole and is like, I just want you to know that we're not friends.
He throws him right under the bus
at all. Like completely, like I think that was their like, oh, look, he took it and ran.
Yep.
That they're all missing.
Yep.
So yeah, then we're to the point where Dani is invited to the dancing ceremony.
Yep.
And at this point, Christian was sitting at the table, but we then see that he's been pulled away and he goes to the interview and then he'll go.
Then he'll come back
and he's
with the red
led there by like by a flower path, which I thought
like
that
a little girl just throwing flowers.
Yes, and I thought that was such a cool effect because you see her throwing the flowers, but like the path grows, so it's getting like kind of a druggy effect.
Yeah, you can see the flowers like changing.
But meanwhile, the girls drink this psychedelic tea, and they have to dance around a maypole until the last one stands, and she will be the May Queen.
Yes. And there's like a whole little routine, you know, like they're like go in a circle and they have to like stop and like spin around. Like there's some choreography that Dani has to learn, but like they're vibing.
Yeah, she's high. She's like, let's go.
Like,
she's having a good
such
time.
a good time. Like my favorite is like once they get a little further along and it's like she's like convinced she can now speak Swedish, where it's like we don't even need language.
I love that part.
It's like they're speaking. I think they're speaking, in English, but like, or maybe they're speaking in Swedish, but there's subtitles. Either way, like she's convinced she can now speak in Swedish.
Yes,
and the Swedish woman is convinced that she can now speak English.
Yes,
like
it's fantastic.
It's
sisterhood.
So amazing.
No, I love it. I love that little part
of like Hocus Pocus when the witches say like dance until you die, because it's like just dance to the death.
Yes,
not really death, but
yeah. And so while this scene is happening, we're now seeing Christian's scene. He goes into this barn, another barn, and he's like wearing this white cloak.
Yeah. And he's led into the room by the mop head man.
Well, but Raven. No, he's there for the whole dance.
Is it the
the guy?
Yeah.
The end.
He's Christian? There for Christian's there for her whole dance. He doesn't get led away until later.
I thought he left at the very I thought he left before she was queen.
No, because they do the dance.
I thought that he went while she was there.
They go, remember, she becomes the queen and like everyone's taking her and like he's
that's right. He doesn't care.
Like, I mean, I think he's confused.
No,
like,
you're right.
Because they give him, he goes and does his thing. He comes back to sit down, watches the dance. And then one of the girls brings him a drink. It says like, oh, it'll make you more open or something. And like, from this point on, I feel like he's my favorite because like his acting was 10 out of 10. He looked confused for the last 30 minutes of the movie.
Yeah. Just like bewildered.
The next 30 minutes is just him like completely tripping like about what's going on.
Yeah, because that's right. Dani wins and she becomes the May Queen, and like he didn't care. And she like kept watching him not caring.
Well, and the saddest part for me too was because the scene with Dani dancing, once she kind of overcomes like, oh, this is awkward, I don't know how to do this. It was the first and only time, I think, in the entire movie she looked so happy. Like she actually forgot about her grief and trauma for a few moments during this day. Like she truly looked happy.
Oh, yes, because
he didn't care.
Yes, because so she becomes the May Queen. And what happens is, they present her with her crown, and then she has to go do this thing with their crops.
Yeah, but so they have a little dinner.
Yeah, yes, they have their little dinner.
Table, do her whole thing. Yep. The guy is like fully tripping. I think that was one of my favorite scenes. Like he looks so confused, and he like turns to the guy next to him, Christian. And he's like, what's going on? And then he just claps.
Yeah.
And you see the ripple in front. And like, he's just like, why did you do that?
Yeah, he's like so upset.
He's so out of it. And that's when we get the girl that comes and does like the little flower path.
So they get led away basically at the same time. So he gets led to his little area. And then she gets carried in this little, again, like chariot.
Yeah, but it's all the ladies that are doing the
and they're like running it. They're like the horses on it.
Yes. She has to go bless like the crops and the animals.
Yes.
Yeah.
So while she's doing that, Christian goes to his barn and he walks in and there's like 10 naked women of all like ages.
But this is when like the person that opens the door into the naked women room is the guy with the mop on his head.
Mop. Yeah.
Like we have to talk about that outfit.
I mean, I think it was like his little thing.
But it's like if you took like an old school just stringy mop and just took the first layer of it and then just put that on as a hat over your face. It's just, it was so memorable.
I actually feel like I've seen that. Like, not the exact same thing, but I feel like that, like, idea of, like, the veiled
mop.
Yeah. You know?
Yeah, it just looked so much, like, the rest of the costumes were great, but that one I was like, they just cut up a mop and stuck it on the dude's face.
I thought it looked kind of cool.
Yeah. So naked ladies, there's these naked ladies, and they're standing in a semicircle in front of, or behind, the redhead who's laying on like a bed of flowers, just like naked and ready.
Oh my God.
This scene.
And so they take his outfit off.
Yeah.
And it like,
He's wearing a robe. So like at one point was he changed into a robe or something? Yeah.
Like, unless you've actually seen it, it's hard to like capture, but like it's a really slow scene. Like this doesn't go by quick. But our description will be. But they get it on. And the more they start feeling it, the more the ladies start feeling it. And at one point, one woman comes down and she's like caressing her face.
Yeah, caressing the redhead's face.
And I asked Laura,
singing.
Yes. Oh, and they sing together. Yes.
And singing.
And moan. They sing and moan.
And moaning.
And I asked Laura, I was like, do you think that's her mom?
I think so.
Like, right? Like, I don't know. I got the vibe that like.
Is that your face?
I don't know why, you guys, but I was like,
so.
The way she was like holding her.
I guess I could see it. Yeah.
Because so it's like, okay, redhead has like, they talked about that she finally got approval to mate.
Yeah.
And so it's like she's decided, okay, this is the man who I want to have to be my baby daddy. So she gets the approval, and all the women are like, you know what? This sounds great. We're into it. Let's all do it. So they just get naked. They stand around, and as the redhead is like feeling good and hot, they start feeling good and hot because they all share emotions.
Well, and I also think it is very ceremonial because the purpose is to impregnate her. So I think that like they do all this because this is what they have to do for it to work. She has to do all of her little rituals before, and they all have to be there. Like it has to be a very intentional ceremony, because then even as he finishes and they're all moaning, like immediately after he stops and they're just like, all right, get the fuck out. Like they immediately are done with him. But
they got what they needed.
The redhead is like, I can feel the baby. Like I know it worked.
Yeah. And again, Christian confused. He's so confused for the last half hour of the movie.
And they just are done with him the minute he's done. They're like, get the fuck out. Like, you're over.
He runs out like fully
dig
naked.
out.
Like just full confused, naked, and afraid, you know?
But we saw before this happened that Dani came back and the girls were trying to get her to go do something with them.
Yeah, she had to do like her queen meeting.
Yeah, she heard just like the communal moaning. And you could see on her face, she was like, what is that? And they were like, come with us, don't. And you could tell she was like, so she went and she looked in the little keyhole. And this is my favorite part of the movie. Like she immediately just viscerally reacts.
And she throws up.
And one of the girls is like, come with us. So they like take her, and a group of girls come together and they take her into the sleeping room. And they like put her on the bed and they're trying to like, you know, make her feel better. But like she just can't. And she's just like losing her shit. And she gets on the floor and she's like rocking back and forth and she just starts like screaming. And the girls just join her like in perfect harmony of like crying and yelling and screaming. Like it's the whole group experiencing it. And it's like a really intense scene.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, like they're all screaming.
Because like I feel like if we hadn't been building up to this for the movie, you'd see this and it's like, are they making fun of her? Like what's going on? Because it just seems it's so intimate that it almost seems awkward. But then if you can kind of just accept like, no, they're honestly feeling what she's feeling in this moment, it's actually pretty moving.
No, it is.
And she even goes through that. You can tell at first she's like, whoa, what are you doing? And then she just lets it go. And she just
Just like they're feeling
leans into it. And she's held by them.
Because she's finally being held. Really being held. Yeah.
But at this point also, like, nobody's doing well. None of the visitors are doing, like, you can tell Dani doesn't feel well. Christian doesn't, like, they just look fucked up. They're tired. They're probably dehydrated. They're on drugs. They're confused. They're traumatized. Like, they just are in rough shape.
And as Christian has run away naked and afraid, he passes by a garden. Where, there's plants, there's like vegetables, there's a leg of his dead friend. So he's like, oh, fuck.
Oh, and he goes into the little room.
Then he goes into like kind of like another barn room thing
or something. Yeah.
And then this is when I wrote, it always comes back to suspension parties.
No, I thought about that too. I was like, how many times can we talk about the suspension party? Like,
so it's like
it's exactly what it was like, you guys.
It's like a hen house because there's literally hens there.
Yeah.
And this is the British guy. And he's suspended on suspenders.
Like hooks hanging down from the ceiling.
Yeah, so he's like face front. He's like down to the chickens. But his back has been sliced open.
Splayed out.
It's his lungs that are like then also suspended. Almost and like you can like see, they look like wings.
Yeah.
You can like see them moving.
And were they moving because he was breathing? I don't think
because he was high.
Or because Christian was high.
Right.
Oh.
Open to
with high. I have a feeling you couldn't realistically survive that.
No. Not for more than like a minute.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then okay, so he sees the British guy, he's all freaked out, and then he turns around and maybe it was Father Odd or somebody blows dust in his face.
Oh, yes. Pocket sand.
Then the next thing we see is it's like we're from Christian's perspective because it's like he wakes up.
We're seeing from his eyes.
We're seeing like from his eyes.
Yep.
It's like you cannot move, you cannot speak.
But she says it so like peacefully and lovingly.
Yeah. Just like, hey, you won't be able to move or speak.
Okay. Everything's okay. And so it's like, what? Like, that's the thing about this movie is that like it takes the typical horror setting and flips it on its head. Like, we don't have people acting like serial killers. We have people acting like loving and
like you're gonna die
peaceful and like it's wild. It really is. Yeah.
And we see then Dani in this massive,
she's gone full May Queen
tape pile volcano hill flowers.
You know what I thought of?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen when like little girls get that Barbie cake and it's the Barbie on top of the cake, and the cake is the Barbie's dress?
Yes,
that's what I thought of.
That is an excellent way to describe
it. Right?
But it's all flowers.
Yes.
Now I wish we would have gotten one of those for Halloween.
Absolutely.
We should have thought of that.
Was a missed opportunity, you guys.
Dang it.
Damn.
But then they're explaining like, okay, so, every 80 years we have to do
90.
Okay, so every year, 90 years we have to do this ceremony and 9 will die. We've already selected our like, I wrote it down. We already have our 4 new bloods that have already died. Or that we've already selected to die. And then we have 2 people from the community who have volunteered. And then, I guess, 4 new bloods already supplied. 2 are already dead. 2 have volunteered. Because the 2 old couple.
The couple.
So that's 8 people.
And it's Pele's brother is one of the volunteers.
Oh, I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, I didn't even catch that.
He's the one who brought the English couple because they thanked him. They said, "Oh, thank you for bringing your, whatever your people, your sacrifices, and you've sacrificed yourself."
Oh, okay, yeah.
And then they say that the May Queen gets to pick between two people, which is one who's randomly chosen. You know, like the bingo.
Yes, it is. It's exactly
like
the
a little bingo thing.
Bingo balls.
Yes.
Yeah. The little roller.
Yeah, they roll some bingo balls. They pick one. And then they get a member of the community. And then there's Christian.
Who they like wheel in front of her. He's
yeah.
Yeah, because he's like paralyzed. He's like in this like wheelchair, like from Heidi.
Yeah,
remember?
Yes, the old school, basically like really old school wheelchair.
And they like wheel him in front because she isn't moving herself because she's like in this thing, and just the look on her facial expressions.
Oh, she's so good in this.
Are amazing.
No, yeah, she crushed.
Yeah. So she gets to choose which of the two of them gets to be the ninth.
Yeah.
It made me so happy. I was like, thank God. Like, because all she does is look at Christian and make like a very small movement. And they're like, okay, done.
Yeah. Then we go to the next scene and get the bear ready.
Yep.
Yeah. So first we see them wheelbarrowing these, like, although dead, to the
temple. Yes.
We have not seen it.
Yeah, the yellow temple.
And that was gross.
Yeah.
Because they're like, it's only parts of them, like their head, like, and they're in these little like mints,
like,
what do you call them?
They look like scarecrows almost. Like,
so Mark had been turned into a scarecrow because they
look like those little court jester
kind
outfits.
of. Yes. Court jester outfits.
Yeah, one of them looks like like a jester.
Yeah, they're like little stuffed animals.
Yeah, so like one of them is made to look like that. One of them is like made to be into a tree. Like it's like all very
the other one's
symbolic.
a fruit basket.
Yeah.
And they put them on these little hay barrels. They line them up.
Yeah.
And then
they're getting the bear ready.
They're getting the bear ready. And with such care, like the way that the man is like explaining to the young boys, like, be careful.
To the children.
The children. You don't want to like cut the intestines. Like, you have to do this a very proper way. Again, they're taking great care to do it. And they stuff Christian into the bear.
You guys, it's so good. It's okay, listen. We'll post the photo, but our brother was the bear. And you guys, we have some photos of us with it's fucking iconic.
The thing about it is, like, if you've seen the movie and then look at our costume, it's so messed up. We looked cute and pretty, but it is
cute.
It is so messed up.
Dark. It's so dark.
Well, and Matt hadn't seen the movie until yesterday. And so I was like, here's your costume.
And he was like, okay. You know what? Good for you, Matthew. Always rally.
No, as soon as the scene came up, I was like, here's the explanation.
Look, it's you.
Oh my God.
But he gets to sit front and center in the temple. And they light it on fire.
Now, we should also say, so many of the people are dead, but the two people who had volunteered, they're alive but given drugs to feel no pain.
And the one old guy is like, cool. He's like, yeah, all right, fuck yeah, let's do it. But the brother of Pele, like, I actually was like, is he gonna run out? Because he looked fucking panicked. Like, which I would be too. Burning alive would not be how I choose to go.
No.
No, probably not.
Even if I was high.
Probably not.
No. Yeah, no.
But it just burns down.
Yeah. And then you see, the two volunteers, like, they are feeling the pain. They are feeling the fear.
Yeah. But it's too late at that point.
Too late. Yeah.
And then I do like the beauty of this because you do kind of see the volunteers in pain, lit on fire. But with Christian, even though he's the one that you know a bit more, you just see it looks like a bear is burning.
Yeah.
Like, you don't really see him burn, which was
like him as a person.
It was kind of a cool, poetic moment.
Yeah.
And then you just see the whole thing is just like, you just see the kind of like the bones of the building.
Yeah. Because it's completely up and
burned down. And then it's like, at first, it seems like everyone appears like they're in pain. Like, they're all screaming, like, as the people are burning, they're all screaming. They all seem in agony. It seems awful. But it, like, starts morphing into euphoria.
Yeah.
Like, then they all seem like they're just, again, this communal feeling, like kind of the communal orgasm that happened earlier. Like, they're just all feeling the emotion intensely, but all together.
Yeah. Yeah, and we see Dani, she's also screaming and crying and trying to run in her ridiculous flower dress. But then in the end, she smiles.
Yeah, and this scene, like, this is one of those scenes that I feel like is probably studied in like school, like acting school, because like, we're the last scene is her face, and the journey that her face takes in the next 30 seconds
It's incredible.
Is wild because she goes from like pained and panicked and scared into just kind of like, oh, it's okay. Everything's okay.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's
That's it. There we go.
Yeah.
Wild.
Oh, it's such a wild movie. It's so good. I still don't know what any of it means. But
I really
so
enjoyed
well
the
done.
rewatch. I was like not sure if I would like enjoy it as much. I did. I loved it. I still enjoyed it.
I think I liked it more because I think than the first time, because the first time there was a lot of shock value going on, but I think because this was the third time,
you pick up on more.
You do pick up on more, and you can kind of you can process it a bit differently.
Yeah,
totally.
And you pick up on so many more like I didn't notice, like in the very, very, very early scene, I think when she's crying, the art behind her is like a giant bear with like the little girl like in front of it. And I was like, whoa, what?
We noticed the same
we noticed
thing.
That too.
Yeah.
Well, you definitely catch more the second.
I mean, I think there's a lot of directions you could go, Laura. But take us on our psych segment. And just remember, she's not a real doctor, but luckily these are not real bears. And do not use us for medical diagnostic purposes.
No. Okay, well, full disclosure to our audience listeners, we are going to be doing a double feature. So in light of time, I didn't go too deep into all the psych, but I've done a few little tickles.
Because you know what? This movie all kind of handles it a little bit itself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I kind of feel like it's
going to take you on the journey.
It kind of takes you on it anyway, so you don't need.
So just doing some psych tickles. Okay. First one is there was a dream.
Yes.
I was going to ask you about that. See if we got some dream analysis.
So let's talk about the dream. So at one point, I forget exactly when, but Dani, so there's been a couple of times where like she has a hard time sleeping. So she keeps asking Chidi for like a sleeping pill. So at one point she has a dream. So, and we know it's a dream because all of a sudden she wakes up and no one is in the sleeping barn, which like, I don't think we explained how many people are in this barn, but it's a lot of people.
Everyone and a baby.
Everyone that's under
17,
36.
Right. Yeah.
Or 36?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, no, you're right. Yeah, it wasn't until you were like 36
they get
that you were like an adult.
Older.
Yeah. Right. Yep.
Yeah.
So she wakes up and no one is in their beds. And then she discovers that the guys are all packed up and like, she sees them kind of walking toward a car. She hears the car start. They drive away. And while that's happening, we're seeing it kind of looks like ambulance lights.
Yeah.
Then we see this scene of just, it's a close up of her face and black smoke is coming out of her mouth.
She goes to scream out and you just get black smoke.
Black smoke. And then there's kind of this like mixture between smashed faces, like of her parents, and then the Swedish couple. It's like she's seeing both of those images. Yes. So if you dream about ambulance lights, that is a warning. And it can elude, like it also can like allude to like your family. So this could be kind of like a warning about her family and kind of saying like you're too late to save them. So it's kind of this reminder. So black smoke. So we've talked about colors of dreams in the past. But black indicates that something needs to be taken very seriously. It also reflects feelings of depression in your waking life, which we saw from Dani.
Yeah.
But in a good note, though, if you dream of like black smoke or something that's black, but then it either changes in that dream or in later dreams. So, like, say in later dreams, the smoke becomes white. If the color changes, it can mean that you're resolving your problem.
Oh,
if you ever dream of something that's distressing to you and the color of that thing is black, then it changes to a different color. That can mean you're resolving your problem. So we didn't get to see that, but okay. So smoke. This one's a really interesting one. So if smoke that is kind of like out in the air is obscuring your view, which it comes from Dani's mouth, and I'm reading this directly from the dream book.
Yes.
So if it is obscuring your view, or kind of like swirling around you, you should consider the implications. So this says, in waking life, are you being forced into a situation in which you must consider ideas that you previously refused to contemplate? Are you worried about hostile attacks by certain people or interference of numerous niggling problems in your waking life?
I'd say she had like a few of those.
I would say that applies.
Couple.
Yeah.
So all that being said, this is my interpretation. So this is a combination of memories of her life and the grief that she's going through, while also warning her that something is dangerous or unsettling in the current community that she's in. So she needs to seriously consider her situation, but also maybe she needs to contemplate a life without Christian, or even without her life back in America, which she never would have considered before. Because we'll talk about this in a second. She's always been so codependent on Christian, and like even her family, even like her sister before her sister and her parents were dead, like she was so entwined with them, she would never have considered leaving. But maybe she needs to seriously think about, do I want to be attached to that life anymore?
Yeah.
And so she's wondering if leaving that old life and joining this new community, even before she's become the May Queen, because this happens before that.
Yeah.
But she needs to consider if that might be the right call for her. That's what that dream means. Yeah.
And I mean, I will say, like, there's something divine about the timing, because really, like, Pele did not think she was coming. Like,
no,
that it wasn't that he like invited them here so that she could become their May Queen and stay. I don't know that she'll stay, but I assume that's what happens.
Oh yeah, she's staying.
You know, but like, it worked out that way.
So now let's talk about empathy. Because I feel like that's like kind of the biggest thing that's going on in this community and this movie. Do you guys know about mirror neurons?
I don't.
Okay. So mirror neurons, they were first discovered in, can you guess?
Racist monkeys.
No, they were monkeys though. In the macaque monkeys?
Macaw?
Macaw?
I think you say macaw.
Macaw?
Macaw. No, it's not macaw.
I think it's macaque. No, I actually looked it up how to pronounce it, and it says macaque. Look it up. It says macaque.
Laura, it ends in an UE.
Macaque.
Where's your cock coming from?
Macaque.
I feel like
we have the hard questions.
Words now.
Do you know how to say it, Yvette?
No.
It's macaque. Oh! Could you hear it?
I heard it.
It's macaque.
It's macaque.
It is macaque.
Gross. I don't want to talk about macaques.
Stop talking about macaque.
Mirror neurons were first discovered in macaque.
Gross.
Monkeys. So, all right, then now we'll stop saying that.
Okay.
So, this is the mirror neuron system it's kind of, so when you are observing something, you have like, so say I were to I just watched Brianna yawn. So when I watched Brianna yawn, I have neurons that fired, and those are the same neurons that would fire when I yawn. So even though I was just watching you do it, because I was observing another person do it, it fired up these neurons. Those are the mirror neurons. So it has like a lot of implications for just psychology and learning. Like they kind of theorize that that's how people like babies learn, for example, because like babies don't learn to walk by first doing it. They have to watch someone to do it, things like that, or just imitation. That's like some evidence to, that mirror neurons exist. And it's important because it also, you have to be able to kind of empathize with other people and realize what they're thinking and feeling so that you can kind of guess what their intentions are going to be. That's just really important for survival and also for living in a community.
It's fair.
So it's kind of like, again, evolutionary,
right,
and like important for that. It also is kind of talking about how you have to use your own neurons that like help you move and do things to even understand that someone else is doing something.
Okay.
Which is just, it's kind of interesting to think about, like, that it's a little bit more involved than just like you kind of like, oh, well, I've been through that, so I know it. Even if you haven't been through it, you can like empathize with someone else just because your neurons are recognizing what's happening in another person.
Interesting.
Yeah. But this cult takes that to the extreme.
Yeah.
I like it. I would join. Hands down. I really would.
You're joining.
Exactly. So, okay. So this is why it works for the Harga people and specifically for Dani with what she has gone through. So I'm not going to get into all the details of grief and all of the detail. I'll talk a little bit about the problems with her and Christian, but all of that, because we've talked about that in so many episodes before.
Yeah.
But for Dani, because she's gone through so much and they're trying to find new members, because they do talk about that in the movie. Like sometimes incest is a little bit of a problem because like sometimes we need to bring in new members so we don't have too much of that.
Yeah.
And like that's,
you mentioned that
earlier on. And when you're like, oh shit, that's why they're here.
Yeah. So it works for them to bring her in, and specifically for her because when she gets connected to them, suddenly she feels seen. She feels held, connected. And like most importantly, because Christian never gave her this, she feels emotionally validated. It's like their mirror neurons are like on steroids.
On fire.
So not only do they like get it, they're actually in it with her. Like they're actually experiencing it with her.
Yeah.
So this is just a huge contrast to the relationship that she has with Dani. So let's talk about why their relationship was a problem. So his personality type, I believe, at least in their relationship, is avoidant and dismissive.
Yeah.
But also, she is very overly attached and needy. I mean, because of her recent loss, like completely understandable.
You kind of get the feel she probably was already
like that before,
right?
Yeah, I feel like that's how they made it.
Yeah.
Literally just read my note. I said, but she was kind of already.
Oh,
like
I
that.
swear I did. That's so funny.
So we've talked a little bit about codependent relationships before, but theirs is, and that's what I'll diagnose them with. They have like a clear, like total, exact, perfect depiction of a codependent relationship. Because his way of responding to her grief and her like neediness, it only enables it and almost keeps the cycle going. So he's constantly invalidating, dismissing, not being there for her, which just makes her seek out and be desperate and try to attach to him more, which just makes him more dismissive because he's like, this is fucking annoying.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, he just enables her dysfunctional coping skills, and then she's just desperately seeking his like quote unquote protection, even though he's not really doing much for her. He's kind of like this warm body there.
Yeah. Yeah.
They just have a total lack of boundaries too. Like she is, constantly calling him and wanting to have him help her, but also he doesn't have it. Like he doesn't tell her he's going on the trip.
Right.
He doesn't want her on the trip, but then like invites her on the trip. So he is
because like he invited. It wasn't that she asked to go. He invited her. Like
yeah,
and then was like she made herself come on the trip.
Yeah. Well, and it's the same thing that we talked about happened with the drugs too. Like that's a great example of just codependency. Like she gets there, she didn't want to do them then, so she says no. What?
No, nothing. I'm sorry.
What?
No, keep talking.
My flower hat?
No, keep talking. I was just thinking like it was one of those times where like as a woman you didn't have to ask like the man or the bear because he got both. So
that's a good point. She said bye-bye to both.
To both.
I don't want no man or no bear. Get out of here.
All right. Okay. So I was talking about like the bad relationship, codependency. And so we clearly see obvious signs that that's what's happening with Christian and Dani. But I just do love the contrast or the change at the end where it's like she's the one to make this huge decision.
Yeah.
A member of the community or her boyfriend of 4 years.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. She happened to pick a Christian, but absolutely everything in this movie has told us they would have respected and validated and honored her decision either way.
Totally.
Yeah, for sure.
She had said Christian lives. This guy goes.
I agree.
You know that, and she owned that decision. Like she got her power back.
She did it because that's what she wanted to choose, not because she was being forced to make that decision.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we've also talked about cults on this podcast before.
We do love a good cult.
I mean, who
I love
doesn't?
a good cult.
I mean, we live in Utah. Too soon?
No, absolutely not. So there are so many things about Dani with all the, the codependent relationship she's had, just the personality type she's had, her life situation, her loss of her family, that makes her susceptible to joining this maybe okay, maybe not okay cult.
Yeah.
I
but
get that.
The more I think about it, the more I think, was that really a bad call for her? Yeah.
Like, yeah. No, that's what I was saying at the beginning. Like, I know I was being facetious, but I really did mean like, I totally understand why she chose to stay.
Because she's, I think, early 20s in this.
Yeah. Yeah, because they're like grad students.
So she's going to spend the next 40 years just respected and understood and loved by people. And that's not a bad thing.
Because that was what I loved about that moment with her and Pele in the sleep barn. Was that in no way was he coming at her from like a manipulative, controlling way. He wasn't trying to convince her. He wasn't trying to like prove to her. He really was just saying like, have you ever actually had that? Because I hadn't. And that's why I'm here. And so like, I think she genuinely felt understood.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, we won't go into talking about all the parts of the cult, but also the thing that kind of like stuck in my mind was their view on stages of life. So back some early episodes of Spooky Sips, we talked about like Erik Erikson's stages of life and Piaget and like the way that they kind of fragment like how people learn and things. We won't get into all of that, but let's just like consider the stages of life that the Harga people have. It's 4 distinct stages.
Yeah.
They're all super meaningful. Like you're learning to grow, you're starting a family, you're stable, and then you're a respected elder.
Yep.
And they are what they are. They last exactly this time, and then they're done. So while that might seem kind of like limiting and constraining to like us in this Western culture we're in, it's so clear cut. Like you don't like when did you ever feel like you became an adult?
Right.
Are you one yet?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Like it's so ambiguous.
Yeah.
In our culture that it's like we're always struggling to like figure out what life is and where we're at in it. Whereas the Harga people are like, well, you're, 19, you're now in you're now in summer.
Yeah.
Easy peasy.
No, honestly, I love it because it's not actually that confining because they're not saying like you can only do X, Y, and Z. It's just you're in that season.
The stage. Yeah.
And it really is a natural season. And I think that like even you're gone at 72 or whatever it was, like I actually get it. I kind of like that. Like I'm kind of like I can actually see how that has a lot of like benefits because you honor your life and then you're done. And then the next one comes on. Like I kind of like it.
You know, I'm also just now realizing I bet Redhead was her name was Maya, by the way.
Oh.
I bet Redhead was 18. Because she's in the cycle. She's in summer now.
She just looked.
That's what it was. She did look really young.
And now the older I get, the younger they look.
Right.
No, like
that sounded sexual. Sorry.
No, that reminded me of the quote from I think it's like Fast Times at Ridgemont High. It's Matthew McConaughey when he was like really young. He's like like, I keep getting older and they say the same age.
Sorry, that sounded really pervy of me, but but yes, you're right. She probably was 18.
They look like baby. Like if I see an 18-year-old, I'm like, you are 12.
Yes, literally.
Like that's you're
which is weird because I'm still in my early 20s.
Right? Yeah, like that's
at the age of 36.
Absolutely. So I feel like this kind of made sense for Dani. I feel like it's a good path for her.
I agree. Good for her. Like get yours, you know? I love when girls succeed in horror. That's my favorite like genre.
Became the queen. Like
like literally.
Yeah.
And like Pele seems super supportive and wonderful to her, and
he's very cute.
And even if he goes away, she's got the whole community to be with her.
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
No, you can just like actually feel the sisterhood of all the girls. Like I loved it. I was like, this is my kind of people.
Yeah. I mean, you can't have a communal orgasm with your lady friends and not feel a bond.
No, it's true.
Yeah. No, you have to be connected.
You really do, even if it's your mom.
No, I don't want to be.
I don't know. I really thought it felt like her mom.
Stop it.
Sorry.
All right. You know what? With that, I'm going to end my psych segment for this episode.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay. I feel like I did not have a ton of fun facts for this one. I rented the DVD so I could get all the extra stuff, but their like little documentary was called like Manifesting Midsommar. And it was more just like behind the scene. Like it was like while they were filming the movie, they would like talk to the actors and stuff. So like I didn't get as many fun facts, but it was a good just little like lens of them filming. So I don't know if we actually mentioned his name, but this was written and directed by Ari Aster. Did Hereditary. So he basically did Hereditary and immediately moved on to this movie.
I was gonna say it felt quick, right?
No, yeah, like they were so quick. So when Hereditary came out, they were filming this movie in Hungary. Wow. So like he didn't go to like a release, I think, for it because he was like already filming this. So it was like back to back.
Oh wow!
Like,
for these two.
How long after The Strange Thing About the Johnsons?
Oh god!
Then Hereditary come out because that was the only other Ari Aster.
Well, I think that was like a college project for him. Like, I think that was like a student.
Thank God for some development of the brain.
Yeah. You know what? That movie has stayed with me for the rest of my life. So
no, he does a great job of just making the worst thing you've ever seen where it's like, I hate it. Good job. It's the best thing ever made. I hated every second of it.
Don't ever talk to me.
How I feel about him.
Absolutely.
Like, it's so funny watching interviews with him because he just looks like a guy.
Yes.
Like, not like, it's like, he just looks like a guy that you'd see on the street, you know? Like, he seems so, like, normal. And then you see these movies and it's like, where did you get this?
Yeah.
What is going on in that brain?
Like, what? I always wonder that. But then, like, I too have mental illness, so I understand.
Well, write things down because it's working for him.
I could become famous one day.
You could write a hit.
I sure could.
Yeah. So when he was writing this, it was right after he had gone through a breakup. So he said that writing this movie felt kind of like therapeutic, and he felt that part of it was capturing the feeling of a breakup, which I feel like just explains so much of the
honestly
opening scenes and the relationships. Like,
Yes.
Cathartic.
Yeah. The movie was filmed in Hungary, not Sweden.
I was gonna say you just said
okay.
Hungary, so
yeah,
I'm
sorry.
curious.
Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't personally tell a field in Hungary from a field in Sweden, but
Yeah,
you know.
so they just found a field and they just built the village. And I feel like
Cool.
you could tell this wasn't in a studio with a green screen.
No, there's no way.
And
Yeah.
no, like they found a nice open field where they could film and they built out like the
Yeah.
whole little village. Which like
Cool.
I'm sure for the actors is just so cool because like they get to just be in it. Like they're actually in the village, in the little cabins.
Like it feels more authentic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I loved this. It was just such a visually beautiful movie.
Yeah, no, it was just so pretty.
Except for, the face smash.
Yeah, but even that was
Well,
visually beautiful.
I mean, it was well made. Like the effects department, the makeup department, whoever made that,
They did
well
good.
the costumes were all handmade, hand embroidered. So every person had, their own costume. Like they were all so different. Like you could see like when they pinned, like everyone's clothes were like a little different, but like the same style.
And it all looked like hand embroidered work.
Yeah.
Like very detailed.
So I think it took a long time to get all of the costumes made. They also found like this super old like linen fabric to make it all out of. So like they tried to like make sure it matched kind of that vibe.
Cool.
Let's see. Oh, while watching the like behind the scenes thing, I saw how they shot the dance, like the big like circle one, and like it's so it took them like 2 days to shoot this, but like it's like the craziest thing because like they would have like the inner circle dancing, and then they built like a track, like a little like like what you see like a little roller, like a little track. And then they had someone sitting with the camera. So it was like the first circle is like spinning, and then they have a guy sitting on a track with the camera spinning the other way. And then like the girls behind spinning like the other way. So like they described it as like it felt like you were like dancing with the camera. Like the camera was part of the choreography.
Cool.
But like it's just like the craziest thing because you just see this man in a chair with a camera like spinning on a little track while they're all dancing.
No, I loved the different like camera angles for that scene.
Yeah. Yeah. So it took them 2 days to film that dance scene just to get it like all choreographed. Okay, I did see apparently there is a director's cut because when I went to rent this movie and I wanted the Blu-ray, they only had the Blu-ray of the director's cut, but I didn't want to watch the director's cut. But if you want to watch it, it's longer. I think it's like 3 hours long. I think the opening scene, he said, is like the opening segment before they get to Sweden is like about the same. But then in Sweden, you get more of like the guys' relationship. I think you get more attention. And then I think you get like a bigger fight between Dani and Christian.
Oh,
so, like,
okay.
I think they make him out to be like even more of an asshole.
Okay.
Whereas like they pared it back so it was a little bit more like, I mean, we're all rooting for Dani, but I don't know if it was quite like, so he should die.
Well, no, I like that it wasn't
right.
It wasn't that extreme.
Yeah.
Like it actually made you like question
exactly
what was happening.
No, I agree. So like I'm kind of happy. I don't think I'll watch the director's cut, but I think if you want to watch it, there's some extra scenes. It's a little longer. Apparently his original cut was like 4 hours long.
Oh my gosh.
So
long.
Final version 2.5 hours. Director's
that's still
cut,
long.
3 hours. One thing that I love Matt. When we watch this movie, when they get to the field and they get out of the car and they start walking out, to go do drugs, Matt immediately was like, there would be ticks. Like immediately, like, as soon as they start walking into the field, he was like, how are they not worried about ticks?
That's fair, Matthew. That is fair. Honestly. Valid.
And so I think Ari Aster also has kind of like a fear of like bugs and ticks and stuff. And so I think it's Mark who then later makes a comment about that where he's like, are there ticks in Sweden?
Yeah.
He's like really worried. And we see him walking around and he has his pants in his socks, which is what you do if you're worried about ticks.
Nice.
So he's like walking around and he has like his little pants tucked into his socks. And Matt was like, that's how I walk around because I'm
such
not
a little
love
getting tick bites.
Nope.
I love that. I've never been bit by a tick.
Mm-mm.
Have either of you ever been bit by a tick?
No.
Luckily, no. We did have a tick scare where someone in the car found a tick on them when we were in the car. And so it was like, great, have to go deep clean my car.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like on their phone. So no one had been bitten.
Okay, good.
It was clearly like crawling around, trying to like find a spot. Yeah.
I can't imagine like having to pull a living thing out of your body.
Yeah, I mean, I just pulled an earwig out of my bra, but like, that's
And honestly, which is worse?
So now you're going to have to include the clip of you finding it, because otherwise that's not going to make sense to our listeners.
We'll see. We'll see how that unraveled.
Mm-hmm.
It was chaos.
That was ridiculous. Like, well, that's the thing. You're going to have to see on the video if I flashed my ass to the camera, because I just leaped out of my chair and like crawled over Brianna. Like, I don't...
It was panic.
I joined 10 minutes late, and
you missed a lot.
You missed a lot of it. You missed a whole lot.
It's still in here.
Yep, it sure is.
Yeah, it's probably still in there.
Oh, for sure.
Okay, just because I feel like we sometimes catch accents, there's only like one American actor in this movie, and it's Chidi. So the actor's name is William Jackson Harper. He's the only American.
Oh, okay.
Everyone else, so like the character that plays Christian, or the actor that plays Christian, sorry, is Irish. So again, the behind the scenes, it's so funny because they would speak to the camera in like their regular accent.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, he was Irish.
I love an Irish accent.
Mm-hmm.
I think if I had to pick, like, I went to Ireland a couple of years ago, and like there was like this one time where there was like this band that was playing, and the singer was like 1, 2, 3. Like it was just tree, like 1, 2, 3, and it was the cutest thing. Okay, you can cut that part out.
No, I won't.
1, 2, 3.
Maybe they're out there listening.
Yes.
It's so cute.
And then a bunch of them were English, and then a bunch of the supporting actors were either like Swedish, British, or like they got some Hungarian people since they were filming in Hungary. So like there was only one American, despite like a lot of the characters having American accents.
Yeah. We did notice that Dani called him Christian, not Christian.
Oh.
It was like Christian.
But only a couple of times.
Right, but it was at the beginning, and then she got it together. But the first like part of the movie.
Yeah. And then my last fun fact, which like I didn't notice while watching it, but when you think back, it's like, oh, that's true, is Dani and Christian don't speak in the last 25 minutes of the movie.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
Because you're right. Even when she makes her decision, she doesn't say it.
She doesn't say anything. And he can't say anything. Slash is alone. So our two main characters don't say anything for the last like half an hour.
Wow. That's cool.
That is. Yeah.
Huh. Yeah. And that's it for my fun fact.
Oh god, now I just felt it on my toe.
Oh god.
Oh my god. Okay, it's fine. I'm fine.
I feel like it's not fine.
So anyways, what a movie. And as we mentioned last episode, if you're listening the day this came out, it is in fact Midsommar.
It is.
Happy Midsommar, everyone.
So happy Midsommar, everyone. What a way to celebrate. You know? Skål.
Skål.
All right, well, I'll be interested to see where we go, because like I love when we have like the extremes, when we either really hate a movie or when we really like a movie, because I feel like that's our most interesting conversations.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel like our ratings reflect that. So here on Spooky Sips, we don't do stars, we do sips. So out of 5 sips of Skål, how many are you giving Midsommar?
Man, it's like, does it have a flaw? You know?
So, okay. I don't, it's not that I think it has a flaw, but to me, I would like my horror movies to just have a little bit more scariness.
Yeah. Yeah.
So an amazing, amazing movie, I can't give it a perfect score, because to me, a perfect score would be a little bit spookier. Like,
yeah, that's fair.
Or like, did I give Psycho a perfect score or something like that? Like to me, like, so it's just missing a little, but only a little. This is such a good movie.
It's so good.
I will give it a 4.5.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's a must-see.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because, we talk about that like we each have like a different preference of horror, right? And like, I think mine is, I love when they make horror of like life. And I feel like that's this movie.
Absolutely.
Between her sister and the cult, like, the horror is in the humanity of it all, right?
Yeah, and I think, a lot of the movie, like the ideas from the movie were taken from like real rituals and real issues that happen in the world. Like it wasn't, not specifically Swedish like stuff. Like they took a loose interpretation of a lot of things that like actually existed in some point in history amongst some group,
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think for me, like, it's not quite a perfect 5 because like, the pacing is maybe just a little there's a couple of moments that I'm like, we could have probably done without that. Like the Mark character. Did we really need him? But like, so I think for me, I'm going to go with a 4.75.
Oh, okay.
Because it's so close. Like, I love this movie. And I recommend if you say that you like horror, this has to be in your
so good.
Yeah.
Watching.
Like, even if you don't like horror, because it's like, again, it is a horror movie, I think. But it's also like kind of not. It's, it's the storytelling is so interesting. Like it's just an interesting story.
You're going to have to be okay with things making you feel upset and uncomfortable though.
Yes.
Or else you won't like it.
Yes.
But like really the gore is pretty palatable.
Speak for yourself.
Well, no, because it's just a few moments. It's not like.
It's not the whole movie.
It's not like Saw 5.
Okay, fair. Right. But it's like the one thing I didn't want to see was the head. Again, like the old people's bashed in heads.
Yeah.
And they just kept, they flashed back to that like 4 different times. Like they showed it and then they showed it again and then they showed it in her dream. And then they,
no, that's fair.
That's fair. It just comes at you. Yeah, I think I'm right on the same page where it's like, to me, like a 4.5 like feels too low. I think it's, like maybe not like perfect for me. I honestly, I have no I have no way this movie could be better. I think it's just personal preference. But I agree. I think it's like 4.75. Like that's
yes.
It's such a good movie. It looks beautiful. The acting is like incredible
by everyone.
They were all good.
It was so good. Honestly, the acting makes it.
Yeah.
Like,
for sure. No, I mean Florence Pugh just like
I was gonna say, did we even say the name? Like,
I know.
Florence Pugh, like she's so good in it.
But like the acting made it that I never once felt like it was a long movie. Like I didn't check the time to be like, oh my God, how much longer? Which a lot of our movies I do. So this did not happen.
Yeah. No, for sure.
What a movie.
Worth a
All right,
rewatch.
well, in theme with summer, next time.
Dun, dun. Dun, dun. Dun, 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 dun. Cut that out.
It's the perfect summer movie.
It is.
It's a good summer movie.
It's a good summer movie.
Yeah.
Yep. So if you haven't seen it, get watching and get sipping. And we'll see you next time on Spooky Sips.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Spooky Sips. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe wherever you're listening. To stay up to date on all the spooky things we're up to, follow us on Facebook and Instagram at SpookySips_podcast. And if you want to help support the podcast, consider buying us a coffee, or really a cocktail. We are completely independent, so every little bit goes a long way to keeping our podcast running and improving. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.